We got Terry and Mary coming up. They're going to tell their story.
All right, you got to put it right here. Right under your chin.
Right here.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
We can hear you.
So tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, we're both retired. I retired in 2020, early 2020. It was kind of a forced retirement. I was a teacher. I'd been teaching, but I got out of teaching just because I was too tired. I was exhausted at this age, as you get older. So early 2020, I had quit my job, was looking for something, but my daughter was pregnant and with our first grandchild. And, with the COVID, we just didn't know what to do. We just wanted to keep everybody safe. So I just didn't go back to work because I wanted to hold that baby. And so that's kind of why I retired and haven't really gone back to work, and I haven't missed it a lot. But I have enjoyed spending my time with my kids and grandkids especially. So you'll see some pictures of them later.
Yeah, no surprise, right?
Okay.
So, and I retired in 2022. So it was unfair. She was not working and I was working. But in 2022, I guess I don't want to steal our own thunder, but some things happened in 2022. Lifestyle was a big part of that, allowed me to retire as well. And so
basically, you joined in 2017. Tell us about, I know you done some, how was your investing when you first joined?
Well, so we first started with multifamily. We joined in 2017. It took us a while to meet some leads, and that was our own fault. We were busy and didn't get up here as much as we should. But ultimately, we started meeting people and got into, I think it was a total of 4 multifamilies over about a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And at first we were saying, well, this mailbox money isn't a whole lot of money. And, it just seemed like it wasn't going to be that big a deal. Let's just be patient, be patient. And then in 2022, all 4 of those sold.
All right.
None of them refinanced. They all sold. And we were pretty happy campers.
Great job. So tell us about, you mentioned when we were talking about you had a conversation with your financial advisor. Tell us a little bit about that.
You meet with them every year, every 2 years, and they'd say, you're on track for retirement. And it just seemed like that number never went up. Every year or every time we'd meet with them, it was like, oh, okay, we'll get there. But there was no visible evidence that we were making any progress whatsoever towards retirement. So we were becoming very skeptical that this was going to ever get us there. And so we were looking for something else. And
we had a little bit of inheritance from a relative, and it's like, we just want to stick this in the stock market.
Yeah.
What else can we do? And I know it says here, I think on the other slide, that I had talked to I had a friend whose husband had come to the 2-day. Yeah, and she had told me about it. I had never heard anything on the radio. I'd never heard anything like that. But we were just looking for something different, like you said.
Yeah, so then we came to the 2-day.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we came to the 2-day, and they had this, there was a deal. You could become a challenge investor or a preferred investor, and it was a savings on the preferred investor.
But it was still a lot of money.
It was still some money, and we were both we're both, I think, type B, and we were, I don't know, and we had this trip plan, and we were in Rome, and the deadline for the deal was coming up, and so we looked at each other and said,
we were actually on a bus in Rome.
We're riding on a public transit bus and said, we got to call and sign up.
How to do it? Let's do it.
And so we did.
Let's just do it.
So in other words, just join before you go out of town.
Yeah, that's right.
Might be easier.
Yeah, don't be type Bs.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this house that you purchased and the rehab. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
So this is in Dallas. And you can see there on the left, it was not in very good shape. All the wiring was gone. My contractor said that he thought that some work had been done and the they hadn't been paid, so they came and took all the wiring out. And so there were holes. I don't know that you like in that middle picture on the side there. You can see where all the holes, wiring was all gone. We had to rewire the whole house, new breaker box. A lot of work. It was a lot of rehab that went into that. And I think you can see it changed dramatically.
Yeah. And so a lifestyle realtor helped you purchase this
Yes,
one.
we had a lifestyle realtor that found the property and helped us.
Okay. And you'll learn more about that with Chris. He's quiet tonight. You quiet, man. Okay.
I'm always quiet.
Okay. And so you'll learn more about that if you come to the 2-day this weekend. And so let's talk about the numbers.
Yeah. So and I don't. We may not have really talked about this. Originally, the purchase price was around 116, I think it was, and then something happened with the seller, and it turned out they wanted to do a short sale. So they came back and said, we're going to sell it for $100,000, but we need you to buy the refrigerator and buy something else. So it total cost for us was 108, but it was a short sale, which we would have never looked for, but we were already kind of into the deal, and it's like, okay, it's going to work. The rehab was $65,000. It took us a while to get the rehab done, probably a little over 2 months. So there was a lot of other odds and ends going on that took money out of the project.
Okay. But looked like so you guys purchased this for 108, rehab 65, a little over 65, and other costs. Equity captures 34,000. Okay, a little under 35,000. And so cash out of pocket is 33,754. That's pretty good. Come on, give him a hand on that one.
Yeah, it's not as good as theirs was, but yeah. I'll take 100% any day. Yeah.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of when we're talking to the members and they're just trying to decide if they want to buy or not, they'll look at okay, 16,000. I think on that case study before us, and think just because it's low numbers, it's a better deal in a sense. But sometimes you just have to look at the numbers and realize, hey, it's 100% return or 103% return. That's what really matters. You get what I'm saying? And so this is a great deal for them. This is a very good deal. So we got cash on cash return 9.3%, and so a little over 3,000 every year cash flow. So give them a hand. Give them a hand. So now they had another property. Tell me about that one.
Okay, so before we got married, I bought half of a duplex in 1983 when, houses were really expensive and that's all I could afford.
The interest rate was...
And interest rates were 16% or something ridiculous. So, and then we got married and we had a kid coming and we had to move. It was like we couldn't sell it for what we owed on it. So we were forced to keep it. And we just have been renting it all these years. And before we joined Lifestyles, it's like, well, we're making money off it. Why change things? But Adrian kicked me in the butt and said,
I was going to say, don't tell him on stage. Say that.
Adrian kind of clued me into a different way of looking at that. Yeah.
Tell the good stuff. I'll pay you later. All right.
Yeah. So that equity capture is actually low. It goes on the market here probably in about a couple of weeks because now we're going to sell it.
Yeah, and we have Danny. Did he leave? Oh, Danny's in the back. He's going to be putting it on the market for him. So that's the key thing. If you have a property that, like I said, you're looking for properties, like Chris will talk to you this weekend about. We got the realtor team back there, Nick and Danny and Kane and his wife, and also when you sell your stuff, you can also talk to them. So great.
So hopefully we'll get that sold, and that equity capture, I wish it was 40 years worth of equity capture. So we could have done better if we had joined Lifestyles a long time ago.
Yeah, but you guys, hey, 200,000, that's a lot, man. That's huge. Still pretty powerful, even, to today's standard, because I think about when I was teaching and, most people when they retire after 35 years, you get it, walk away with $100,000 in, payments, monthly payments that are equal to not a whole lot, right? You get it. And so this is huge, guys. Okay. So how's your life changed, though? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so we talked about the 4 multifamilies that we invested in, and they all sold in 2022. My business also sold in 2022. So, that was a really, really good year. But I will just say those 4 multifamilies, the return on those were astonishing. And so that has really helped us be able to retire. And we're loving retirement. We love to travel.
Has he started getting on your nerve yet? Being at the house all day? No.
Keeping him busy. Lifestyles kind of helps a little bit. Keep him busy.
Okay, short term and long term. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm going to say just one of the main things that we've both really enjoyed is being able to travel, and we've done quite a bit of that in the last few years. And I get to spend time with my grandkids. And one of the things I tell my grandson periodically is, I've waited my whole life to do this with you. And so, like I've waited my whole life to go to Norway with you.
Yeah.
And we spent 3 weeks in Norway this last summer. I've waited my whole life to be able to do some of the things. And so it's like, you don't have to wait. If you do this and go ahead and get in, then you're going to get to do all of those things that you just make life better. And it's the time that you get to spend with the people you love and your experiences and all of that.
Yeah, exactly. She was spent all day with the grandkids at the zoo
I
today.
did. I was at the Fort Worth Zoo today. So anyway.
So the thing that Adrian had clued me into, I mean, we were worried.
Sell it. Come on, keep
What
going.
are what are we going to do? How are we going to create more cash flow for retirement? And we had this house that I bought 40 years ago, and I was talking to Adrian about it. He said, let me tell you a totally different way. Sell that house. You got to sell that house. Take that money and reinvest it, but take some of that money. We're going to do a 1031 exchange, but take some of that money and hold it and put it aside, and then pay yourself out of that over the next year to 2 years. And that way you won't miss the cash flow, and it won't be at risk at all. And so we're going to sell this house. We're going to put enough money aside to have cash flow from this house for another 2 years. And then around the end of that time frame, we'll take whatever house we want to sell at that time, sell it again, do the same thing, wash, repeat, everything over and over again until we die.
A lot of, in a lot of, my timing wasn't right on that one. I'm sorry, but a lot of times, we'll see investors. They'll have a portfolio and they'll just keep holding on to their equity. Where I'm like, listen, man, we can show you how to, probably double this, and you're holding on to it because you don't want to sell it, or you're tied in. And, it's my first, little house. So I'm glad that you were able to see for us, like, because you got to look at, if you don't do it, what are you missing? Yeah. And when you start thinking about the what you're missing, it comes greater than what you have. So powerful conversation.
We're fully depreciated. There's no tax benefit on keeping this house anymore. I mean, we're losing out on benefit just by doing nothing.
All right, real quick. I know I work with you guys, mentors, but I'm sure you probably work with Nicole and Brandon a little bit too. Realty team in the back. Danny, like I said, has been working with him also. And we have, I know Kerry's in here. He's the tallest one in here. Is he gone? And it's Capital Concepts, REA Solutions, Greenworks, and Integrity Insurance. And so.
And REA Solutions, I can't say enough about Carlos Alvarez. That's the GC. He did a great job. And he's actually starting tomorrow to do make ready on this house that we're getting ready to sell.
Oh,
so
perfect.
I trust him. He's a good guy.
All right. Okay. And we always teach, vet your people. All right. So, questions. What we got? Questions?
Questions. We got one right here with Bill.
Terry, do you own both sides of the duplex now?
We do not. We bought that. I bought it 40 years ago before I knew that I shouldn't do that. But I guess even if I'd known I shouldn't do it, with the housing market at that time and I was a young single man, I would have done it anyway. It was the only way I could get into a home.
The other question, on your house, some of the landscaping, who ends up doing that for you?
Are you
But
talking?
the question is, who ends up doing the landscape? You got 250 people out there staring at you right there. You just didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
They want to know. Yeah, they have no idea what was just asked. So
Okay.
who did the landscaping?
Are you talking about the house? Yeah.
Clearing the shrubbery and stuff.
Yeah, well, we hired somebody to come in and do all that. Yeah.
Was it a vendor?
No, that was just a guy who works locally in that market. Yeah, and he mowed it probably a handful of times because the city was coming out and saying you got to mow this grass. So, but yeah, we had to maintain it while we were doing the rehab, and we didn't put a lot of money into that, but it was necessary.
What other questions? Anybody else got questions?
Going once.
Do you manage the property yourself?
Yeah, we do.
How hard is that?
Not very. You know, it's a little nerve-wracking when you're looking for a tenant.
Well, you're a type B, so every time you have to communicate with the general public, you shrink into a corner and cry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, guilty. But you didn't ask. We use apartment.com.
Okay.
So we listed on apartments.com, signed in the yard, the whole thing, got lots of phone calls. But we ended up leasing it to somebody, and they make all the payments through apartments.com. We don't take checks. I mean, everything's managed through them. So it's a great way to keep up with the day-to-day.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Hey, we had fun up here. Thanks for guys.
Thank you.
Coming out. Oh,